We are taking a group trip to Holland and Belgium in March 2016. We invite you to take a look at the places we will visit on the Anne Frank trip. Amsterdam is our first stop. It's a major city in Western Europe with more than 1 million people living in the metropolitan area. Our group will arrive in the morning on Sunday, March 20th, and will be transferred by motor coach from the airport to our hotel. The city has close to 1,000 miles of canals. In the afternoon, on the day of our arrival, we will enjoy a canal cruise to explore some of the major canals. We'll see many interesting buildings as we tour the city of Amsterdam. Our canal ride will take us past many buildings with interesting architecture, some dating back to the 16th century. A local guide will explain how residents get furniture moved into an apartment on the upper floor using these pulleys on the outside of the building. There are 165 bridges over the canals and 8 drawbridges to allow taller boats to pass. There are approximately 600,000 bicycles for 750,000 residents in the city of Amsterdam. If you go with us on the trip, we'll be sure to tell you how to avoid walking in the bicycle lane because they are likely to hit you if they find you in their space. Our breakfast will be provided in the hotel, but you may want to keep track of a place like Jennifer's where you can get lunch or a snack. A highlight of our time in Amsterdam will be a visit to the Anne Frank house with a museum on the first level and a hidden apartment on the upper level in the back. We'll drive north from Amsterdam through the countryside. Remember that the Netherlands is part of what is known as the Low Countries, and they have small canals everywhere since many areas are below sea level. We will see many cows grazing in the countryside because they use the milk to make their famous cheese. During our visit to a cheese factory, they will show us the process of making the cheese. We'll have time to sample some cheese and make some purchases. We'll also make a stop at a wooden shoe factory or a clog maker. Surrounding the craftsmen who make the shoes will be a variety of the shoes they designed. Some with colorful Dutch designs, others with textured designs. There should be something to suit your taste and your size. Please note that sizes are in centimeters and the price is in euros. After a drive north of Amsterdam, we will arrive in Volendam, a fishing village on the north coast of the Netherlands. The style of houses is much different in this region. There are canals in this town with walking bridges. Many signs are in English, especially when it comes to the food. Notice the flags on this building? They represent the many countries which bring ships to the port of Volendam. We'll have time for a snack, and perhaps you can have your first taste of the French fries known as frites. They are very different from the fries you get here. No visit to Holland would be complete without visiting a windmill. Dick and Marge Gibson, the group leaders for the Anne Frank trip, are pictured here on a previous visit. Our tour will make a stop at Kinderdijk, where there are 21 windmills in one location. Windmills in Holland are much different than the wind turbines dotting the countryside in the U.S. Midwest. Some people even lived in the windmill. The sign here shows that this windmill was built in 1656. Our tour will include a stop at the Royal Delft Pottery Factory with its magnificent collection of hand-painted earthenware pieces where we can see the skilled craftsmen at work. Another stop will be at Keukenhof, the famous flower park in southern Holland where there are over 7 million tulip bulbs planted. We will arrive on opening day to see some of the world's most beautiful spring flowers. The bulbs are grown in Holland and shipped all over the world. Near Amsterdam is the town of Haarlem. We will pass the clock tower, which is very close to the town square and our stopping place. The Ten Boom family had a watch shop near the Haarlem town square before World War II. Two adult sisters and their father operated the watch shop on the first floor and lived on the second and third floor of the building. An American teen, Valerie, is shown here in the Ten Boom living room on the second floor. During World War II, the Ten Boom family took in guests for a short period of time. If they were Jewish, they helped them get new papers and enabled them to move to freedom. The Ten Booms created a narrow space hidden behind a bedroom wall. When the Gestapo came to search, all guests in the house had to get into the hiding place quickly. This lady is Corrie Ten Boom, who survived a concentration camp and returned to tell about the hiding place. The hole where she is standing is not the entrance to the hiding place. The actual entrance is on the lower left, under the bottom closet shelf. As many as 8 guests had to climb through the opening in this third-floor bedroom in less than 2 minutes from anywhere in the house. After 5 days in Holland, we will move south to Belgium, stopping briefly in the city of Antwerp. In the 1500s in Antwerp, there was a famous printing company named the Planten and Mauritshuis Museum. They were among the first to print Bibles using movable type. They followed closely in the footsteps of the more famous Gutenberg and actually have 3 of his Bibles in the museum. The company printed other books as well, but closed the shop about 200 years ago. It was left in the condition it had been in, so it's authentic. Connected to the museum was the residence of the Plantens. It's also well preserved with original furniture of the period, including this bed with its curtains for warmth in the winter. The factory and residence surround a lovely courtyard. Moving on to the capital of Belgium, we will have an orientation tour of the city of Brussels and time in the beautiful Grand Place with its 15th century guild halls. Buildings on the Grand Place include a Gothic-style town hall and a Brussels City Museum. The square in front of these buildings is usually filled with people. However, every 2 years during the month of August, the square is covered with a spectacular floral carpet. Up close, you can see the small pots of flowers used to create the design, which changes each year. If you look closely at the buildings, you'll see some of the statues decorating the facade. There are also smaller carvings decorating the buildings. Some carvings are serious. Some are not so serious. Some are funny. Others are sad if you know the story behind the people depicted. Count Egmont and Count Horn were landowners who resisted the Spanish takeover of their lands and exorbitant taxes. They were given a choice to recant their faith or be beheaded. They would not recant, so we will see a plaque on a nearby wall telling of their execution. You can browse in the lace shops near the Grand Place. You may want to bring back a souvenir or gift of lace. Then again, you may want to spend your money on chocolate, the best in the world. You will definitely want to taste an authentic Belgian waffle called a gopher, which you can purchase in a shop or from a street vendor. As we enter the restaurants section near the Brussels Grand Place, we will find colorful displays of fish and vegetables served by a restaurant. You may want to try mussels in Brussels. There'll be tables outside if the weather is warm enough. We'll probably have tables inside at the famous Chez Lyon restaurant, where we have our final dinner together. In the Grand Place, you learned about Count Egmont, who was beheaded because he would not recant his faith. He was lord of this manor called Gaspé Castle. The lord of the manor controlled all the ground for miles around, which we will see as we approach the castle. We will enter through the drawbridge entry gate over a moat which was filled with water. When they drained the moat, they found suits of armor and other implements which are now on display in the castle. This is not new construction. The date shows 1326. The exterior has held up well. We will enjoy wandering the grounds as well as touring the inside. The interior arches and architecture are fascinating. The deep window wells show how thick the walls are. The kitchen may have been the only warm place in the castle. Windows overlook the beautiful courtyard. We will make a brief stop in the Belgian city of Ghent. It is also a canal town. When we visit in late March, Belgium may be emerging from a gray winter where they may not have seen sunshine for weeks at a time. The weather is similar to Seattle. Restaurants with outdoor seating areas line the canal. In this Ghent cathedral is a very famous painting. We'll look around inside at the beautiful stained glass windows, and then we will admire the Van Eyck painting from the early 15th century, The Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. This is an altarpiece done in 12 panels. Moving on to Bruges, we will find one of Western Europe's most perfectly preserved medieval towns. If the weather permits, we'll take a canal cruise and hear about the town that was formerly a coastal city with flourishing trade until the port filled with silt and most residents left. In the 20th century, the town was restored to appear as it would have been in the 17th century. The market square is very colorfully painted. You may want to climb the 13th century belfry with its 47 bell carillon and tower with panoramic views. Nearby is a beguinage that was formerly a large cloister of nuns. It's a beautiful and peaceful spot. Then on to the site of the Battle of Waterloo. Here Napoleon faced the troops from several countries and was defeated. The monument is a mound of dirt carried in buckets by the local women to commemorate the defeat of this invader. You can climb to the top of the hill to get a better view of the lion statue and the countryside. This was just a few of some of the places we will visit on our trip. We invite you to come and sample Holland and Belgium with us. Here's a recap of some of the things you need to know about this custom-designed trip. If you want to travel with us, here's what you need to know, as well as the information to contact one of the group leaders if you have questions.